how do you guys feel about having police in schools, and what's your opinions on that?
I think it depends how they conduct themselves. If they walk around like, like prison wardens, like, oh, what are you up to? I feel like that would bring quite a negative impact. But if the police officer kind of talks with the kids, maybe engages with them in certain activities, maybe football, stuff like that, maybe almost as someone that they feel safe to talk to, that can understand them and can help them out, instead of someone that's just going to bash the hammer down and sentence them. I feel like that can have a positive impact, but it just depends how they conduct themselves there.
I don't agree with it. I think that schools are a safe place, and to bring in someone that might not necessarily make that person feel safe, you're taking that safe place away from that young person or child. And like, from personal experience, having a police officer in a school, in my school, like my secondary school, it didn't reduce violence, it didn't make it worse, the fights carried on, the police officer just stood there, they were still smoking cigarettes or whatever else around the back, like, it didn't do anything, they were just there, like, you're taking that space away from that child, and maybe that's a matter of, then we need to make the police feel more like a safe person, but at this moment they don't, so why would you ruin school for that person who's potentially going there to escape from everything else?
Yeah, I agree, because I think schools are meant to be a safe place, a place where you grow, where you learn, where you have fun. Police, they belong where criminals are, or in prison. Why are they in the playground where kids play? How do you think a child feels running up and down and they see a handcuff on the police officer's hip, or they see a body camera on his shoulder? Like, why is there police in schools? I don't understand the concept of it.
I was thinking more maybe if the kids are younger, enter secondary school and kind of see this quote unquote positive role model, as in like, oh, PC this, and he comes into the school and sometimes plays. I thought that might be some sort of way. It could sound good, but more for the younger generation, I feel like, because you don't really hate police, or you kind of see police as cool until you kind of get to like 12, 13, and then you start realising and growing up and, understanding what goes on in the world, rather than, Paw Patrol and stuff. You know what I mean?
If you imagine school to be a safe place, but what if your school isn't a safe place and you actually just want it to become a safe place? Perhaps you want that police presence to perhaps help it make a safe place again. If you have that naive, well, maybe not naive, opinion that police will make it safer, which I don't know if they will or not.
Do you think there's other avenues to take rather than installing police into schools to make it a safer place? Like maybe the stuff you teach in class, or team building activities, or you start from a younger age, and I don't know. Like, I thought there's other routes you can take other than having police officers in school, like relationship building, teamwork building exercises you could have.
True, but then I would imagine those are like long-term things to make the students a better person. Whereas if you're talking about the person sitting next to me is literally a drug dealer and I'm scared every day I walk in, then perhaps the police presence is a more short-term solution. I definitely don't think police presence is a long-term solution.
Yeah, because if you're scared to go into of your peers, you're sitting next to, you're not going to come into school, are you? Yeah. And that's an issue.
So I wanted to mention, I feel like having a police officer there that you can confide in, I think it'll almost make you look like a teacher's pet. Like, it'll go into snitch culture. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was, going to school and there was a police officer, to be, I wouldn't want to be known as the person that goes to him or her or non-binary. And, be like, oh, this has happened, oh gosh, because all the other ones are going to go, oh, you little supergrass. I mean, even going to the teacher and snitching was bad. To go to a police officer and start saying stuff, you're going to be hated. I feel like you would be hated.
100%, especially where I'm from, because if you snitch where I'm from, that's with you for your life. That's a title you have.
If you can't live there again, you get kicked out.
Yeah, you get targeted, you'll get bullied, attacked, just because you snitched, or you're associated with a police officer. And that's who the majority of people who commit crime hate. And if you know you're associated with them, then they're going to hate you as well, instinctively.
So, I was going to say, not only would you have, like, obviously if there is, like, huge, like maybe there's people in there, drug dealers and stuff, that are probably involved in gang activity usually, if they are in that type of activity, they usually are involved in gangs. I feel like now you're going to be known by gang members that do carry knives, that sell drugs, now you're going to be a teacher's pet that none of us like, and we hate the fact that you speak to him. You know, the police officer, I don't know, maybe, but I definitely would, yeah. I definitely, I mean, you wouldn't even speak to teachers usually, would you? Some people wouldn't, let alone a police officer, but yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say, I do see where Krishna is coming from, and I think it's also, like, because you can't give something to one group and take away from the other group, but I think in this sort of situation, we have to, like, weigh down the like, my words today, oh my God. I think in this sort of situations, we have to see, like, the end result of, like, is it better to actually add police and keep this group of children safe, or should we restrain ourselves from including police and making sure the other group feels safe? Because I personally, growing up, maybe when you were a kid, you see the police as like, oh, you know, cool, they have guns and whatever. But then as you grow older and you see the world around you, especially as a black person and someone from any background, police is not my best friend, I can't lie to you. Like, I do not see the police as a role model. I do not see police as someone that will come and help me. In fact, sometimes I'm even more scared of the police than actually anyone else. So if I was in a school, and which it happens sometimes where in my school police will come over, I just look at them, I'm like, who you think you are? Like, you're just walking around with your big gun or cameras or whatever it might be. I'm not intimidated, I'm not, wow, I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing. You're just there, like, I'm just looking at you. But I do understand why we should keep, you know, those 50% that actually really need the police. But I think if your school is so bad that you actually need police in there to police what's going on, maybe there needs to be more internal regulations within teachers and head teachers to actually, like, try to sort out the problem itself from inside instead of bringing out an outsider to try to fix it.
I think we're done now. So guys, thank you so much. Like, we've all contributed massively to this, and
That was done greatly. I liked all the questions.
yeah,
Yeah, they weren't boring, none of the questions at all.
yeah, it was a very interesting discussion, and I hope everyone watching this kind of gets our point of view, and they can see it in our light as well. And that's the benefit of having such a diverse board in the YEF. So thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you.